Hi, I'm Pastor Mark David. I welcome you once again to today's edition of PowerPoints as we continue to talk about peace in the home. Today, as we continue our discussion on peace in the home, we continue to focus on the area of parents and children, peace in parenting. And we are saying that children ought to honor and obey their parents, but parents are not to provoke their children to wrath. And some of the things that provoke children to wrath is failing to accept the fact that things do change. Also, over control of a child will also provoke a child to wrath. But a third thing that provokes a child to wrath is under control. That too can provoke a child to wrath. You see, it should be noted that this is the most prevalent problem in an industrialized society. There is a tendency for those with plenty or with wealth to pamper, indulge, and give a child everything imaginable, well beyond what the child needs and what is really best for the child. Parents pamper and indulge their children for several reasons. You know, some parents may indulge and pamper their children in order to escape responsibility for the child, to keep a child from interrupting the parent's time or schedule or desires, to get a child out from under the parent's feet. The parent, of course, needs some free time, but too many parents live selfishly, wanting nothing interfering with their own desires and needs, and too many parents push their children out and away and allow their children to run around too much. Too few sacrifice their own time and desires to look after their children as much as they should. So they compensate for that by indulgent pampering. Some parents indulge and pamper their children because they want to give in to a child in order to gain social standing or to relive their own childhood. The parent did not have and was not allowed to have what he wanted as a child, and therefore he sees to it that his child has everything and does everything that everyone else does. He's determined that his child will have everything no matter what the cost. So they pamper and indulge the child. Another reason might be to give in to the child because he has a false understanding or philosophy of child rearing. He gives in to ill behavior and whining and pouting and sulkiness and temper tantrums just to secure peace and quiet. Or we may pamper and indulge our children because of our misguided devotion and love, to keep from losing the loyalty, the quietness and the cooperativeness and affection of the child. Or we may give in because of insecurity, because of a lack of purpose. For example, some pamper and cling to a child because they, the parent, are insecure in the world. Others cling and pamper because they lack any other purpose. The child feels the need for security and purpose. Playing house is lived out to the limit. The parent plays house with his child, clinging and pampering to the limit. But Proverbs 13:24 says, "He that spareth his rod hateth his child, but he that loveth his child chasten him betimes." That means he chasten him on a timely basis. Proverbs 19:18 says, "Chasten the son while there is hope, and let not your soul spare for his crying." In Proverbs 22:15 it says, "Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction will drive it far from him." Proverbs 29:15 says, "The rod and reproof give wisdom, but a child left to himself bringeth his mother to shame." So we need to be careful about being overindulgent, under control. We need to be careful about over control. And we need to be careful about failing to accept the fact that times and generations will change. A fourth thing that will stir a child to wrath is living an inconsistent life before a child. A parent who tells a child one thing and then turns around and does the opposite is full of hypocrisy and false profession. Yet this is very common. How many children today are doing things because their parents do them? Like drinking alcohol and taking drugs and watching sexual scenes on television or movies and reading immoral stories and looking at magazines exposing the human body, overeating, wasting time, dressing or exposing the body to attract attention, attending socials or parties that are loose on decency, morality, marital faithfulness, and so on. Seeing an inconsistent life in a parent can provoke a child. The responsibility of parents is not to provoke their children, but to bring them up in the ways of the Lord, in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. The responsibility of the child is to love, honor, and respect the parent. The word nurture means the whole training and education of children, which involves the cultivation of their mind and their morals. The commands and admonishments, reproof and punishment, correct their mistakes, curb the passions, and increase the virtue. The word admonition means to counsel, to exhort, to correct. The parent is not to rear the child after his own ideas and notions of what is best for the child, but after the nurture and admonition of the Lord. I'm Mark David, and this has been PowerPoints from the Open Bible.